We often walk through our days believing we are the same person who woke up this morning. We carry the heavy burden of our history, our mistakes, and our triumphs as if they are permanently etched into our skin. But there is a profound misunderstanding at the core of this belief. The Buddha taught that existence is not a solid block of granite but a flowing river. We are not static beings traveling through time. We are a succession of moments, flickering in and out of existence like the flame of a candle. This is the secret of momentary rebirth. It is the radical idea that you are born and you die thousands of times in a single day. When you understand this, you realize that you do not have to be defined by who you were 5 minutes ago. You are free to step out of the shadows of the past and into the light of the immediate present. This is the beginning of true strength. This is where the chains of the ego begin to dissolve. The root of our suffering lies in our desperate attachment to continuity. We cling to a version of ourselves that no longer exists. Imagine you are carrying a heavy sack of stones on your back. Each stone represents a memory, a grudge, a label you have accepted, or a failure you cannot forgive. You carry this sack everywhere you go, bending under its weight, exhausted by the effort of simply standing up. You believe this sack is part of who you are. You believe that without these stones, you would cease to exist. The Buddha looked at the human condition and saw this unnecessary burden. He saw that we trap ourselves in a prison of our own making by refusing to let the moment pass. We wake up in the morning and immediately put on the costume of yesterday. We remember that we are angry at a partner, or stressed about a job, or insecure about our appearance. We resurrect the old self and force life into it, even though the universe has already moved on. This is the root of the illusion. We think life is a continuous line, but it is actually a series of discrete points. In the philosophy of the Buddha, the self is not a permanent soul that resides in the chest. It is a process. It is an event that happens over and over again. Think of a movie projected onto a screen. It looks like a fluid motion, but it is actually 24 still images flashing every second. If you slow it down, you see the gaps. You see that one image must completely disappear before the next one can appear. Our consciousness works in the same way. A thought arises, it stays for a moment, and then it vanishes. In that gap, there is a death, and in the next rising thought, there is a birth. When we fail to see this, we create a solid, unmoving ego that is easily bruised and easily threatened. We defend this ego against insults. We starve it with insecurities. We bloat it with pride. But we are defending a ghost. The root of our weakness is the belief that we must remain consistent with our past. We say to ourselves that we are anxious people, or that we are short-tempered, or that we are not good enough. By saying these things, we solidify a fluid process into a hard reality. We cast ourselves in iron when we were meant to be water. The Buddha invites us to see the root of this suffering and simply observe it. He asks us to look at the sack of stones and realize that we have the power to drop it. We do not have to pick up the anger we felt 10 minutes ago. That anger belonged to a different person in a different time. That person has died. The person who stands here now is fresh, unburdened, and capable of a new choice. This is the practice of momentary rebirth in its most practical form. It is the refusal to drag the corpse of the past into the living room of the present. It requires a warrior spirit to cut the cords of attachment. It takes immense courage to stand naked in the now, without the armor of your old stories. But this vulnerability is the only path to true invincibility. When you are no longer protecting an image of who you were, you are free to become who you must be right now. To deepen this understanding, we must analyze the machinery of our own minds with the precision of a scientist. The Buddha was often called the great physician because he diagnosed the human condition with clinical accuracy. He broke down the experience of being human into 5 changing processes, which he called the aggregates. These are form, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. There is no permanent captain steering this ship. There is only the interaction of these 5 changing elements. Let us look closely at how a moment of anger is constructed. First, there is contact. Someone says a word that you dislike. Your ears hear the sound, and your brain registers the vibration. This is simple physics. Then, there is feeling. A sensation arises in the body, perhaps a tightening of the chest or a flush of heat in the face. This is biological. Then comes perception. Your mind labels this experience as an insult. It accesses a library of past memories to categorize this sound as an attack. Then comes the most critical part, which is the mental formation or volition. This is where the karma is made. You decide, often unconsciously, to react. You construct a narrative that says, "I am being attacked, and I must fight back." In that split second, an angry self is born. This angry self feels very real. It feels like it has existed forever and will exist forever. It demands action. It wants to shout, to hurt, to defend. But then, watch what happens. The moment passes. The chemical surge in the brain subsides. The person leaves the room. The silence returns. Where did that angry self go? It did not go anywhere. It simply ceased to exist. It died. However, if we are not careful, we use our memory to revive it. We replay the argument in the shower. We replay it while we are driving. We perform a dark necromancy, bringing the dead moment back to life over and over again. This analysis reveals that we are the architects of our own continuity. We stitch these disparate moments together with the thread of attachment. The Buddha teaches that consciousness is not a continuous stream but a series of pulses. Like the pulse of a heart, there is a beat and then a rest. Every time a new object comes before the mind, a new consciousness arises to meet it. When you look at a beautiful sunset, you are the sunset consciousness. When you taste a bitter lemon, you are the tasting consciousness. You are never the same thing twice. This analysis is terrifying to the ego, but it is liberating to the spirit. It means that your flaws are not permanent features of your soul. They are just weather patterns passing through the sky of your mind. You are not a depressed person. You are a vast awareness experiencing a moment of depression. You are not an angry person. You are a space in which a storm of anger is currently passing. By analyzing the components of the self, we create distance. We step back from the movie screen and see the flickering light. We stop identifying with the character in the tragedy and start identifying with the awareness that watches it. This shift in perspective is the key to resilience. If you believe you are the storm, you will be destroyed by the wind. If you realize you are the sky, you can hold the storm without being harmed by it. The sky does not care if it is raining or sunny. It remains vast, open, and untouched. This is the nature of the mind when it is purified of the illusion of continuity. It becomes a fortress that no weapon can breach. When we analyze our experience moment by moment, we slow down the chaotic rush of life. We see the gap between the trigger and the reaction. In that gap lies our freedom. In that gap, we can choose not to be reborn as the victim. We can choose to be reborn as the observer. We can break the chain of cause and effect that keeps us trapped in old patterns. This is not abstract philosophy. This is a practical tool for survival in a chaotic world. It allows us to navigate stress without becoming the stress. It allows us to face pain without becoming the suffering. The Western mind often recoils at this teaching because it sounds like annihilation. We fear that if there is no solid self, then nothing matters. We worry that if we are just a flickering candle flame, there is no responsibility and no purpose. This is the great misunderstanding that leads to nihilism. But the Buddha taught the exact opposite of nihilism. He taught that because you are constantly changing, your choices matter more, not less. This is the counterpoint to the fear of emptiness. Think of a billiard ball striking another billiard ball on a pool table. The energy from the first ball is transferred perfectly to the second ball. The first ball stops, but its momentum continues in a new form. This is exactly how our moments of consciousness connect. The person you were 1 second ago has handed over a legacy to the person you are right now. If that previous person was angry, You inherit the momentum of that anger. If that previous person was kind, you inherit the warmth of that kindness. We are not punished for our anger. We are punished by our anger. We are not rewarded for our virtue. We are rewarded by our virtue. This creates a profound sense of responsibility known as karma. It means you are the heir to your own actions. You cannot blame your parents, your society, or your past trauma for the action you take in this specific second. Those things set the table, but you are the one taking the shot. This perspective empowers you to break generational curses. It empowers you to stop the cycle of abuse. Just because you were hurt in the past does not mean you must be reborn as a person who hurts others. You have the power to absorb the energy of the past and transform it before passing it on. You become a transformer of energy rather than just a conductor of it. When you realize that you are being born anew right now, you see that you have a blank check. You can write a new value on it. This removes the excuse of saying that is just the way I am. That phrase is the prison guard of the ego. Nothing is the way it is forever. Everything is the way it is becoming. The counterpoint to the emptiness of self is the fullness of potential. A cup is useful only because it is empty. If it were full of concrete, it could hold no water. If you are full of a rigid identity, you cannot hold the newness of life. You must empty yourself of the idea that you are broken. You must empty yourself of the idea that you are a failure. By becoming nothing, you are free to become anything. This is where the true strength of the warrior is found. It is not the strength of a stone wall that resists the wind until it cracks. It is the strength of the wind itself. The wind cannot be broken because it has no form. When you adopt this fluidity, the chaotic world cannot crush you. You move around the obstacles like water flowing around a rock. You do not take the insults of the world personally because there is no person there to take them. There is only the process of hearing, the process of understanding, and the process of letting go. We often hold on to our suffering because it feels familiar. We wear our pain like an old, comfortable coat. The Buddha challenges us to take off the coat. He challenges us to step out into the cold air of reality without our protections. It feels dangerous at first. It feels like we are losing ourselves. But what we are actually losing is the weight that has been holding us down. We are losing the false narrative that we are separate from the rest of the world. In this constant flow of birth and death, we realize we are connected to everything. The energy that drives us is the same energy that drives the stars and the tides. We are not isolated fragments fighting for survival. We are the universe experiencing itself in a momentary dance of form. When this understanding moves from the head to the heart, a realization dawns. We stop waiting for happiness to arrive in the future. We stop waiting for the weekend, for the vacation, or for retirement. We realize that the only place life ever happens is right here. This moment is the only moment you can ever survive. You have never lived in the past, and you will never live in the future. You only ever live in the now. The practice of momentary rebirth transforms the mundane into the sacred. Washing the dishes becomes an act of meditation. Driving to work becomes a journey of awareness. You are not just driving. You are feeling the wheel, seeing the road, and existing fully in the flow. This realization brings a profound peace that is independent of external circumstances. The world may be in chaos. The markets may be crashing. Relationships may be ending. But the stillness within the moment remains untouched. It is like the depth of the ocean. On the surface, there are 10-foot waves and violent storms. But if you dive down 50 feet, there is silence. There is only the gentle sway of the current. Through the practice of mindfulness, we learn to live in the deep water. We allow the surface storms to rage without being tossed around by them. This does not mean we become indifferent or cold. On the contrary, when we stop protecting the ego, we become capable of immense love. We see that everyone else is also carrying a heavy sack of stones. We see that the person screaming at us is suffering from their own burning house. We do not judge them for their anger. We feel compassion for their pain. We realize that they are trapped in a cycle of rebirth that they do not understand. We can forgive them instantly because we know that the person who offended us is already gone. To hold a grudge is to be angry at a ghost. The realization leads to a lightness of being. We walk through the world without leaving footprints. We do not need to leave a legacy of stone statues. Our legacy is the quality of the moments we leave behind. Our legacy is the kindness we show to a stranger in a grocery store. Our legacy is the patience we show to a crying child. These moments ripple out into the universe forever. The Buddha called this state the entry into the stream. Once you enter the stream of reality, you can never be fully lost again. You trust the current. You stop swimming upstream against the truth of impermanence. You embrace the change. You embrace the death of the moment because you know it brings the birth of the new. This is the ultimate freedom. It is the freedom from the fear of death itself. If you die 1,000 times a day, the final death of the body is just one more transition. It is just one more changing of the guard. You have practiced letting go so many times that the final letting go comes naturally. You live fully because you are not afraid of the end. You squeeze the juice out of every orange because you know the taste will vanish. You look into the eyes of your loved ones with total presence because you know this moment will never come again. The realization is not a destination you reach and then stop. It is a continuous unfolding. It is a path that you walk step by step, breath by breath. It requires constant vigilance. The ego is cunning and will try to rebuild its fortress the moment you look away. But now you have the tools to dismantle it. Now you have the secret of the Buddha. You know that you are a river, not a rock. So, who are you right now? Are you the failures of your past? Are you the anxieties of your future? Or are you this breath? The Buddha invites you to put down the heavy burden of your history. He invites you to step out of the story you have been telling yourself for 20 years. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, let the old world die. Let the old self fade into the mist. Open your eyes. The world is bright, sharp, and new. You have just been born. You are free to choose who you will be in this pristine, untouched moment. Walk forward with the strength of a universe that is constantly renewing itself. There is no past to regret. There is no future to fear. There is only this, and this is enough.